Our agency has done, a little over like $1 million, like in, agency fees, like our retainers. And we've done 25 million in email revenue, right? So
wow.
On average, every $1 that someone pays us, we're generating them, $25, right?
Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur Podcast, the #1 podcast bringing you behind the scenes with real online earners, no fake gurus here. And today we have the wonderful Chase Dimond. Welcome to the podcast, man.
Welcome, welcome.
And we got Tyler Devon, as always.
Yes, sir.
Tyler, where are you today? Where are you?
Where am I? That's a great question. At an anonymous place in Central America.
Nice.
With ceiling roofs.
Ceiling
concrete roofs.
And a TV mount with Sans TV.
That's right.
So Chase, just let you know, Tyler's like, he's never at his home. He's always bouncing around doing business trips. And so we're always like sending him messages, be like, hey man, can you do this podcast? Like, where will you be? Will you have good internet connection? Make this happen. So
I love it.
Where are you, Chase?
I'm in Orange County, California.
Oh, nice, man. A man after my own heart. Man after my own heart. Yeah. I'm in rainy Vancouver. It's been like blackout here for the last like couple weeks. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, man, welcome to the podcast. How about you get started and kind of tell us how you got to where you are today? Like just for like show notes here. You run an agency now and you specialize in email marketing for e-com brands. And I really want to dive into that, but I kind of want to hear about how you got to this place.
Awesome. Yeah. So taking you way back. So when I was 13 years old, I was diagnosed with a disease called Crohn's disease. And at the time I was sick for probably about a year. The biggest reason was I didn't know about it. My family didn't know about it. Doctors didn't know about it. So my marketing kind of goes back to just guerrilla marketing back then. As soon as I got better and knew what I was dealing with, my goal was to raise awareness and funding for this disease.
Oh, wow.
Oh, crazy.
No one have to suffer.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know too much about Crohn's. How did you go for that long without knowing you had it?
So today there's only about 1.4 million people in the US that have it. So still a really small number. And I'm 27 now. So about 14, 15 years ago, way less people knew about it. I mean, I'm sure the same amount of people had it. So just the fact that like I kept getting misdiagnosis after misdiagnosis, I went so long without the proper treatment that I made it my mission as a teenager to really do what I could in the local community.
Yeah.
Awareness, throwing events, and raise money for this disease. So I've kind of got thrown into marketing way back then. Yeah. And then in college studied marketing, did a bunch of jobs and internships in marketing. And once I graduated, I built this product at this ed tech company that connected students on college campuses to other in their classroom to be able to share course documents, things like study guides.
Oh, interesting.
And I had to figure out like, how the hell do I market this? Like now I've got a product, like what do I do? So being it now that I'm in email, I went to college directories and just found kids' emails and just started rifling off emails one by one by one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you?
It actually worked out great, so much so that I had our developers build kind of a scraper to start scraping college directories. Hopefully no educators hear this, but we were starting to scrape college directories at the 50 schools we launched at. And we were launching at schools based off the largest enrollment size. So Arizona State, Penn State, Florida State, schools like that, where the ratio was 1 to 1,000, right? Almost impossible to get that personal interaction with a professor. If you missed a class, you were kind of screwed. So built this platform and just started rifling off emails one by one, and soon enough figured out a way how to grab that data at scale and how to email that at scale, so that way it would inbox and get past some of the schools spam filters.
That's crazy. You can't do that these days, can you? Like that's illegal. It's illegal too, isn't it?
It's a little different. Yeah. It's a little different.
Yeah.
So how many users did you guys ultimately end up getting through that?
So through cold email, as well as kind of blitzing Facebook groups. So we were joining Facebook groups. I'm personally like in 1,000 college Facebook groups.
Wow.
And again, another thing that I always laugh about when I say is I was building profiles of really attractive females using friends' photos, of course, with their permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to certain schools. And then at one point, I was just automating joining all these Facebook groups and posting content into these Facebook groups.
Gotcha.
So tool called back then called Mass Planner. Today they now have one called Jarvie, where basically you're able to scrape Facebook groups based off of a keyword. So for me, I was going after like class of 2020, class of 2021, and I was just posting in these groups after I got accepted, like, hey guys, I just dumped out in like 100 of my documents from this school. You can sign up here for free. All you have to do is upload a few of your documents and you'll get access. And we grew that to like 400, 500,000 college students in like 6 months.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Did that business ever create revenue?
So that business did not. This was part of a larger company. The company was called Student Brands, and they had a database of 1.5 million essays, term papers, and AP book notes that students paid a subscription fee to. And the problem with that is like you would come maybe once a year, you'd pay for like a month, and then you would bail. So the company wanted to find a way to generate leads and build a product that had a lot more retention. And that's kind of why we built this. This was really a great lead funnel for that other business.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Smart. Go for it.
What was your next evolution from there?
So from there, I kind of had acquired like this dating site called Bernie Singles. Really, really random, but like these guys had launched the site in like 2 weeks. I saw it, wanted to get involved, and the guys ended up selling it to me for like a couple $1,000s. And at the time I was looking to kind of do some part-time consulting. So I really needed like a case study. I was some young dude that had some experience, but nothing crazy. So we bought this dating site, and then it ended up going viral. It had like over 1 million people visit it in the first 3 months.
Wow.
Ellen DeGeneres, Stephen Colbert, like it was everywhere. So it was a really big like PR play, and also a really big Facebook group play. And then once we built the email list, it was a big referral play.
What went viral that like kind of gave it its launch pad?
Just the fact that no one really had ever done like a niche kind of political dating site, right? There was things for like, religion, right? Like things like, Christians Meet or J-Date or something, right?
Yeah.
There were a bunch of other things, but there was not really one around like politics that really blew up, let alone a specific candidate. And Bernie was really big, like with the millennials. So more than anything, like it was kind of like a joke. I think people more were making fun of it and just so
yeah.
This is a thing. No one really actually found love on the platform.
You don't know that there's 1 million people. They could have found love.
Yeah.
We had like over 1 million visits. We ended up having like 50,000 people actually join the platform and sign up. Part of the reason, like the site was up one day, it was down the next. Like it was not built for scale. We thought that we could come in and kind of beef it up and really get it going, but traffic was too unpredictable.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's
funny
hilarious.
Concept.
Yeah. Did it get a lot of hate or just all love?
So someone started a site called Trump Singles, and they were talking so much smack. They were calling us out in articles. They were like personally messaging us. So Trump Singles were definitely hating on us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Man, you guys started a whole new niche that nobody really thought about.
Yeah, it was crazy. Or at least if no one had thought about it, this was like the first one that kind of made it more mainstream.
Yeah.
So
too funny, man.
Yeah, done that on the side. And then from there, I had like 1 or 2 other side things. I had built an Instagram bot, and I noticed that there were other Instagram bots, so I made mine for musicians. It was the same tool everyone else was selling. It was just a branding play.
Yeah.
It's called Sound Juice, and had spent like 5 or 6 months on that. I'd grown that to like low 5-figure, MRR, and then it ended up getting acquired by.
What's MRR? Oh, monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So MRR.
Oh, cool.
It was doing about $10,000 to $20,000 a month in revenue.
Crazy.
Nice.
And then it got acquired by a large player in the space, and then I ended up consulting with them on like 8 or 9 of their brands. They had, a site called Social Envy. They had one called Social Steez. They had one called Rise Social. None of these brands exist. They got sued for like 10 mil from Instagram. So
wow.
them for 2 or 3 years, and then they got sued, and I dibs.
Wow. Smart. That was a smart play. All right. And so after that, where did you end up?
Yeah. So this is going to be the last one before I get to what I'm doing now.
Okay.
I was building an email travel series called The Discoverer. And I grew it from 0 to about 500,000 email subscribers in the first year. And the ways that we acquired users for that, and I guess that business, to explain a little bit further, it was a once a week email where we featured a different destination from around the world, where we would crowdsource from locals as well as tourists, what to do, where to stay, what to eat, when's the best time of year to go. And we kind of took a playbook from like the Skim and the Hustle and Morning Brew on like an editorial based business that was kind of non-biased based off advertisers. And we grew that through cold email was the number one. So I built a tool that had scraped Instagram based around hashtags that people had posted with, accounts that people had followed, or locations that people had geotagged. So we ended up scraping like 3 or 4 million emails, and we were sending emails out saying like, hey, join our Facebook group. And on the Facebook group, one of the survey questions was, what was your email? Hey, Gabe, we're looking for content from Vancouver. Do you mind submitting your content here? So that would send you to a type form, and you would fill out all this stuff, and you'd give us your email. And we actually collected about 30 to 40,000 type form submissions over the course of that year.
Crazy.
So you guys would scrape the emails from Instagram and then like load them up and just cold email them?
Yeah. So we were sending hundreds of thousands of cold emails every month with the average open rate of like 40 to 50% and an average click through of like 10 to 15%. Like people were super engaged.
That's insane, especially for cold email.
Oh, dude, it was nuts. And because we scraped them from Instagram, we were able to use a lot of really cool personalization. So like, for example, the subject line could be, your hashtag Vancouver photo. And then the email body itself, we could actually pull that photo that you had posted with and say like, hey, came across your hashtag Vancouver photo. And then in brackets would be like, check here to see which one we're talking about. So people were like super curious, like what photo we were talking about. People were super curious, like how we found them. A lot of people we were reaching out to thought they were influencers. They had like 1,000 followers or 5,000 followers. They thought they were influencers. And part of the carrot that we dangled was, hey, if you submit content to the type form, if you subscribe to the newsletter, if you tag us on social, you have a chance of being featured. And as we were doing this, the numbers kept stacking, right? We would say, hey, you have a chance to be featured in front of 200,000 email subscribers. You've got a chance to be on our Instagram that has over 1 million people. One of the ways that we acquired subscribers also was through buying Instagram accounts. So we had purchased about 5 viral travel Instagram accounts, and we had then built out about a dozen total niche accounts. So people like to sleep in their tents, right? We had one called Tent Diaries. We had an account for luxury travelers. We had one for van life people. So we purchased about 500,000 to 600,000 followers. And we ended up growing it to about 2.2 million followers across a dozen accounts.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So how did you monetize that? Sorry.
What'd you say? What was van life?
Van life.
Yes,
van life.
Yeah, sorry. People that wanted to stay at their vans, right? So we were very focused on like the trends, like people that wanted to stay at the Ritz-Carlton, right? Were luxury travelers.
Yeah.
Deck out their vans, right? Loved our van account. So typically people followed.
Too funny.
Yeah, people would follow 2 or more accounts, right? They would already be following our viral account, and then they would kind of self-categorize themselves based off what account they followed after, right? Whether it was luxury or, I don't know, tents.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's smart. How did you guys monetize that after?
Yeah, so the first part of my time there was just focused on community building. There was no sponsorships, there was no monetization. And then we started monetizing via advertising and affiliate. So advertising with, we didn't advertise with them, but like, Airbnb or Marriott, things like that. And then affiliates for flight deals, for products, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
So you do that via email or like via the actual Instagram account itself?
Email was really the channel. Email was the whole business. So again, we would do some swipe up stories that had some social, but 90% of it was from email.
Dude, man, I'm shocked you guys got those open rates on cold traffic like that. That's unreal. How long ago was that?
That was in 2017. So
not even that long ago.
Yeah, not terribly long ago. Have done some of that stuff today. It's become increasingly harder.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
But still, even in 2017, that's strong.
Yeah, man. All right. So once you transition from that, now we're getting into the agency stuff here. How did you decide like you wanted to go from that Instagram business into agency?
So a lot of it kind of happened organic. So from that case study I had with the Discover, the travel business, and sharing that on social, I had a bunch of friends who were like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this for so-and-so? So I ended up taking 5 clients. And then from there, I was like, man, I'm making way more money and I'm already doing what I love, which is the same kind of email thing. I might as well switch to this and build a serious business around this. So I launched an agency in June of 2018 that was going to be, obsessively focused on e-commerce email marketing. And I actually got into e-commerce through Nick Shackelford, who had connected us. Nick had known about my background in email and kind of cold email and all the stuff that I was doing on the acquisition and retention side for communities, for lack of a better word. And Nick was like, man, I think you really could crush this e-commerce thing. I think it's going to be good for you. So he had sent me a course. I took this course. He hooked me up with a client. And kind of since then, I'm now working with 30 clients for our brands. We've done about 25 million in email revenue since launching about 18, 19 months ago. And I'm loving it. It's been so fun.
That's really cool, man. That's
really cool. Congrats, dude.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what course did you take?
He sent me one of Ezra's courses. So I took an Ezra course on Klaviyo and just fell in love with it.
Oh, makes sense.
Ezra that course was pretty good. I went through that too, actually.
I've also been through that course. Crazy.
Yeah, so that plus with just getting thrown into the deep end, like that's really how.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you guys, are you an everything agency, or you were saying you do email, but do you do everything else as well, or just email?
So we do everything within email. We do copy, we do design, we do list segmentation, we do revenue, all of that. So we're exclusively focused on email.
Okay.
I had 1 or 2 agencies in the past where we offered everything. And the problem I found with that is when I met with friends, with family, with clients, I told them that we did everything. Most people left away hearing that we did nothing, right? I really felt like the jack of all trades in that key scenario didn't make sense. I really wanted to be a specialist. So now when I tell people I do email marketing and kind of tell them about my experience and the case studies we have and the clients we work with, it's a no-brainer, right? You guys are going to walk away from this conversation saying, Chase really knows email. And the next time someone has an email need, I'm going to be top of mind. So that was really the key from us going kind of from, doing mid 5 figures in agency revenue to right about 6 figures in agency revenue.
That's awesome. That's actually what you said.
Yeah.
Is a good fucking, like a great lesson for everyone listening to this right now.
Yeah. Agreed.
If you specialize, people will remember you. Because there's, especially with email, like as far as people I know out there that do email, there's really just like a handful of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to clarify, I was talking about 5 figures monthly. So like the business has like doubled since focusing and obsessing over just one thing.
Nice.
All the case studies around email. Every time we speak to someone just about email, they don't have to switch their minds between thinking about paid acquisition, SEO, and email. So everything is just so hyper-focused, which allows people that are not technical and not email marketers themselves, so AKA the clients, to really understand what we do, how we do it, why we do it.
Awesome, man. What are you guys solely focused on e-commerce, or do you guys do other lead generation or anything else like that?
We have done like newsletter stuff in the past. We worked with some media companies. But like 99% of what we're doing now is e-commerce because I don't want to say that it's not creative, but it's a lot more cookie cutter and it's a lot more scalable for us as a business to train and train people.
That makes sense.
For us to get out of doing all the execution, right? My partner and I, up until about 3 months ago, we're doing everything ourselves. And to be able to train people on the creative part of like cold email and kind of acquisition that way is really difficult. But our philosophy and our thesis lately has been taking really talented designers, teaching them email, and making them really well-rounded email marketers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How come designers?
Why designers?
Yeah.
The thing with a lot of the brands that we're working with is they're very brand focused.
Gotcha.
So brands like, the Chive and Tushy and Ibex, and Vinyl Me Please, that are all very obsessed about their brand. They're all very protective of their brand. So being able to communicate the brand through email in a way that looks really great has been so important for all of our clients.
That makes sense. That's smart, man. I like that.
Thank you.
Interesting. And I'd assume your deliverability is easier due to having such an engaging list.
Yeah, and that's something we obsess over, like, and that's a big problem that we come into with clients is they're just batching and blasting everyone, right? So
Yeah.
really,
I found the same.
yeah. We have to really come and clean things up. Like with some clients that are so bad, we have to be very stringent and doing like a 30-day engaged. And what I mean by that is people that have opened or clicked in the past 30 days, we have to kind of come in and really be over aggressive and over index on the engaged people to increase their deliverability.
Yeah.
Clients that have been doing kind of decently and okay, we typically do like a 60 or a 90-day engage. And again, those are people that have opened or clicked in the past 60 or 90 days. And for clients that have done really, really well, we can kind of extend to like a 120. And the benchmark that we're looking for is, north of 20%. 15% is okay, but we really want to be north of 20%.
Makes sense. What do you guys have a go-to ESP you guys use for email and e-commerce?
Hands down, Klaviyo.
Nice.
Yeah.
What have you run into any challenges at all with Klaviyo?
So one thing that I don't love about Klaviyo is like their form builder. So like for pop-ups, it's a little more limited. That being said, like, and again, this is my own personal experience. We found that when using Klaviyo, they do a much better job of tying the cookie to someone's profile than if you use a third party. So for example, for anyone that doesn't understand what that means, when you use Klaviyo and someone subscribes and then looks at a product or does an action on the site, it seems to tie better to that subscriber's profile when you're using Klaviyo's native form. If you're using a pop-up like Just Uno or something else, obviously the email itself and some data is passed through, but we just noticed the fire rate of like the browse abandonment or the abandoned cart or the abandoned checkout emails being much higher for clients that are using Klaviyo.
Interesting. Yeah, that's super good to know. Go ahead.
I forget what we used before for
we used Klaviyo for a period of time. We used MailChimp for a period of time.
There was another one though that we used for email retargeting. I forget.
Crap, I forget the name of it too. Was it that service?
Yeah, it
was a service that drove us freaking nuts. I remember that.
It wasn't Carts Guru.
No, there's another one.
Anyway,
that's cool though.
Yeah.
We use I'm definitely a fan of Klaviyo too. Like one of the biggest things I like is the reporting. Like you can see like how each different campaign did, how much each email made. And like I noticed a lot of interesting trends like with respect to abandonment carts specifically, where like the first email would make a lot of money, the second email would be good, third email would be good, and then the fourth email would be sometimes better than the second and third.
Yeah.
And like Klaviyo made it so easy to manage that. Like other things they just make it, you have to dig into your stats and reporting with Klaviyo. They did a damn good job with it.
Yeah, I think the analytics reporting is great. And I also like, I feel like Klaviyo is so much more advanced than MailChimp on the flow side where you can do a lot more A/B testing. You can build out a lot more flow. So by default in Klaviyo, when you connect at least your Shopify store, you can do things like an abandoned checkout, right? Which Klaviyo, for whatever reason, calls an abandoned cart. But there's actually two flows if you're using Klaviyo and Shopify that you could build that I highly recommend. So it's a true abandoned cart, and it's a browse abandonment. And those are pretty easy. All you have to do is take a snippet of code and add it to your Shopify, like Liquid, your product Liquid themes. And again, Klaviyo has tons of documentation on that. That's one low-hanging fruit. I feel like if people are using Klaviyo that no one knows.
Could you actually explain browse abandonment? Because I think Klaviyo might be, I don't even think MailChimp has that, do they?
I don't think so. So if you think about a customer journey, right? So after they subscribed, there's kind of three main buckets before they purchase. One is kind of just viewing a product, right? With intent or kind of casually. So if someone's viewing a product, that will trigger a browse abandonment. And I'll kind of explain each thing a little bit further after I explain this. But browsing, viewing a product, browse abandonment, emails. Someone adds something to their cart, that obviously is an abandoned cart. Someone starts checkout, that then fires what's called an abandoned checkout. And obviously as you go, abandoned checkout's the most engaged, right? People are the most likely to convert because they've ended that far. And by default, Klaviyo allows, the best one, the last one, the abandoned checkout, but the other ones can be added pretty easily. So the browse abandonment, after you've configured that, if someone has already on your list and not added to their cart, that will fire a browse email. So you can kind of play on the fact that it's kind of creepy, right? You can say things like, I saw that you were just...
Yeah, can we do it? So say you're on, Spix, Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
Well, that came out poorly. Dick's.
I also want to know why you chose Dick's.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about hockey equipment. So say I was on Dick's Sporting Goods website. I was looking at hockey equipment. I found a hockey stick. Now I'm on their email list, but I haven't added to cart. And I leave Dick's Sporting Goods website. Essentially, they know that I went and visited that page, looked at that hockey stick, and they're going to send me an email based on the exact product I looked at.
Exactly. So Klaviyo has a block that's dynamic. So depending on the item or the items that you're looking at, they will automatically show you those, item or items. So the browse abandonment, it's a pretty good one if you have, a decent amount of subscribers, because it's very high volume, right? So people looking at a product and adding to their cart, there is so much drop off. So browse abandonment flows with high volume stores typically is like in the top 3 or 4 revenue producing flows. The other ones are like the welcome, the welcome flow for non-buyers, the abandoned cart.
Makes sense.
That's a pretty new thing, right? Like that's in the last few years.
That's very new. A lot of people don't know about them. A lot of people I have to have a conversation with. A lot of clients I have to beg them to let me do that because I think it's so creepy. And yes, it is, but it drives so much revenue.
Yeah. I mean, we live in the world of creepy. Facebook's listening.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Absolutely.
We've come this far.
Yeah.
We're all fine for now.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Ads later for Dick's Sporting Goods now that we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, legitimately.
Oh, for sure. Even stuff that my fiance looks at, I get retargeted for. It's
because they know you're going to buy it for her.
That's highly unlikely.
No, that's cool. That browse abandonment, that's a good tidbit for people out there who have an e-commerce store and they're not taking advantage of that now. Especially, I feel like any sort of fashion brand that would be huge for, because if you like a certain brand, you're going to go buy and look at other stuff. Probably any type of business where people keep on purchasing because they need to get more of that stock. There's so many applications for that.
Yeah. So again, I don't want to jump on too much, but consumables, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Is a huge
you
one.
chose a smarter word. Thank you.
Yeah. Exactly. Consumables, whether it's food or even things like skincare, right? Or hair care, things that it's every 4 to 6 weeks. The browse is a great one. Another flow that's really great for that, and I promise I'll go back to the next 2, is what we call a replenishment flow. So, right, businesses inherently know most often how often you're going to purchase, right? So, for example, with a lot of CBD businesses, and people go through that supply of CBD, let's call it 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So around kind of week 5, we might hit someone saying hey, you just ran out or you're about to run out, make sure you refill. We're actually able to show people that product and remind them what they had purchased and land them right back on that product page. And typically incentivize with a discount. And then if the replenishment flow works really, really well, we'll recommend to people, hey, you might as well get a subscription. And again, that's completely off topic, but I'll go back to the other 2. And if you want to talk,
dude, that's another damn good idea, because I could see that doing really well in supplement businesses. We did for pre-workout protein powder. There's this one guy we helped out one time, and all we did exactly that, a replenishment reminder where it's hey, it's been 30 days. Do you want another one? Yes. And you could even say after day 33, if they still haven't ordered, you'd say, hey, 10% off of your next order. There's so many things you do to incentivize. Yeah. What's interesting, man? I think in general, email is just one of those hidden gems that people overlook. They're so focused on front end, more subscribers, but you've already paid for that lead. You've outlaid the most amount of money already. Now's the time to fucking take advantage of that.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, email is not sexy. People don't understand it. Everyone just reads the headline that email is dead every year because that drives. I
love that. Thank you, Gary Vee.
Yeah, right. But email for a lot of our clients, on average is doing 25 to 35% of their total revenue comes from email. And we have clients that are doing 45, 55% of the revenue from email. So it's
man, and the profit margin on that too. I know businesses that completely rely on their email.
Oh, email. Yeah. So with our agency, we've been around for about, a year and a half, and our agency has done, a little over $1 million, in, agency fees, our retainers. And we've done 25 million in email revenue, right? So
wow.
On average, every $1 that someone pays us, we're generating them, $25, right? nothing against paid acquisition, but those guys are stoked if they're doing like a 2 or 3x, right?
Totally. And man, just like not think about it. It's so nice. And there's so much that goes into it too. Like when we do email, because I have a team of mailers and we focus more on lead generation, but like just getting someone from the promotions to the primary inbox on Gmail, that alone will double your open rate, and double the opens means double the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to forget about the other two things, but the abandoned cart.
Yeah, for sure.
So if someone looks at a product, right, they add to their cart and they do not check out, that will fire, or did not start checkout, that will fire an abandoned cart, right? Most people are pretty familiar with that. And then the last one, and again, on that one and this next one, all these three that we were talking about, they all show you the product that you've looked at, you've left at your cart, or you left at checkout. And that's really huge to remind people and then inherently drive conversion. The checkout one, again, if someone's looked at a product, added to cart and started checkout, but did not convert, that will then fire an abandoned checkout flow.
Awesome.
Interesting. Cool.
As far as a value per lead on your abandonment carts and your flows, do you guys have an average you kind of shoot for clients, or how do you guys target that?
Yeah, man, that's a really great question. We definitely have benchmarks on like opens and click-throughs. So, it's not unsurprising to see open rates for all those emails like 40, 50%, sometimes even more.
Mm-hmm.
Click-throughs for those, like it's not uncommon to see like 5, 10% click-throughs. And again, like you could see even more. Man, it's so hard because we have so many different clients. Like we're working with 30 clients and no client is in the same, bucket. We've got like CBD, we've got skincare, we've got apparel, we've got watches. And the revenue per recipient really depends on like the product category, the AOV. It's really challenging to give like a revenue per recipient. But in terms of conversions for those emails, like we're looking at like a 3 to 5% conversion rate on a lot of those emails kind of blended. Some of them might have like 7 to 10% conversion, and others might have like a 1 to 3% conversion. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Yeah. No worries. No, I can understand that being broad. As far as when you guys build out your abandonment cart sequence, I know Ezra in that course, he specifically mentions the discount ladder. Do you guys follow a similar model, or how do you approach it? What do you recommend for people?
So yeah, again, some clients like are so anti-discount, like we will never put a discount in any single email. And we're more really focused on selling on like the problem and like the solution to the product.
The value.
Yeah, exactly. The value and the benefit that you'll gain. So in some emails, we can never do it. Other clients are like, hey, we're open to giving a discount, but we want to wait until like the last email, right? So if we have 3 or 4 emails in the flow, email 3 or email 4 will include the discount. And then other clients are just like, hey, we want to drive conversion. Just stick a discount in every single email. And we do that too, right? So part of it really goes back to like what the brand strategy is on discounts versus no discounts, and how aggressive they want to be or don't want to be. And people's mindset changes, right? Like in Q4, clients that are like, we don't really want to give a discount that often. They're like, all right, let's push discounts like nobody's business. Right?
Time to melt Q4. I get it.
Yeah, get those numbers up.
Exactly. So yeah, depending on the client, we'll have emails that have discounts throughout all of them, or we'll kind of wait till the end, because obviously people are going to still purchase without a discount. They're just more likely to purchase towards the end with a discount because they probably abandoned their cart or their checkout because they're waiting to see if you're going to send a discount, right? And if they realize that you aren't, they're going to probably buy anyways.
Yeah. It is funny. That is a strategy amongst consumers, which drives me nuts. But at the same time, I've definitely been guilty of it.
Oh, same.
All the time. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to ride this one out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the brands that I enjoy don't give discounts, so.
I feel you there.
Oh, well, what can you do? Do you guys, you've mentioned CBD a few times. Do you guys specialize in it?
CBD. So we actually have a product. We have a lander that ranks on page 1 for CBD marketing agency.
Nice.
So we don't like go solicit business for it. We typically get like 5 to 7 total leads a week from that lander, and say 1 to 2 pretty qualified. So Gabe, I think you said you were in Vancouver. We had actually a public company from that. Namaste Technologies. I don't know if you've seen them. They have like a $200 million market cap. They found us because we rank high on CBD marketing agency.
Crazy. Yeah, that's really cool, man. I don't know them because there's so many weed brands here that it's just like, they're like Starbucks. Well, they were like Starbucks. They actually, government came in and changed that up. But yeah, man, there's so many here. I have no idea.
Yeah, and the reason that people come to us for CBD is we had our own CBD brand that we launched about a year ago. I've since gotten out of that. I wanted to like really focus on this business, so I kind of just sold my shares to some of the other partners and got out of it.
Yeah.
But business for dogs, and we went through all the struggles of building a website and payment processing and banking and paid acquisition. That once we kind of started figuring it out, we had a lot of inbound from friends and family. So in our portfolio right now, 30 clients that we work with, I'd say 7 or 8 are CBD and kind of cannabis.
Oh, wow.
So it's not a focus, but it's definitely one that's growing.
Does Clavia have any issues with CBD?
To this point right now, we've had no issues with any clients, right? Knock on wood. Others are really strict though, to your point. They ban you, they'll kick you off, but no issues with Clavio so far.
That's great.
Crazy. Do you guys, I guess you're allowed to use Shopify, but you can't use Shopify's payment processor, right?
So correct. So Shopify a couple months ago opened up the platform and kind of said like, hey, we're going to take on all this. Before, everyone was using like WordPress plus WooCommerce, which is just
gotcha.
a nightmare.
But
yeah, so you do have to integrate like a payment gateway still, for like a third party, and man, it's so expensive.
But there's so many now.
Yeah. And Square's doing some cool stuff. I don't know if they're still in beta, but Square's doing some really cool stuff with some of our CBD clients actually.
Oh, crazy. Making it a little more mainstream.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have more competitive rates also.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. Also, I was kind of looking at your profile there. You used to have a protein company, or you do have a protein company?
So I did some work with Nick in a protein company that he was involved with.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he was involved with it, and then like one of my first agencies a long time ago.
Gotcha.
Did some consulting for a protein company.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, man. I did like the last minute research. I was like, I need to know a little bit about this guy here.
That's funny.
I love it.
We get so many like cold people who we never meet, and so I'd like to do a little bit of research on them here and there. But yeah, cool. So what's kind of your next steps for 2020 here and blowing up your business?
Yeah, so most of our business to date has been inbound through clients that have multiple businesses. So a lot of the businesses that we work with, the founders are serial entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They'll start one business with us, and with a few clients, we have 3 or 4 of their businesses. So we have all the businesses we work with. So finding more really great serial entrepreneurs that don't micromanage and really let us do what we're great at, and they continue doing what they're great at. So that's one. We're really focused on staffing up the team. So we made our first kind of 2 full-time hires. One was 3 months ago, and then one was like a few weeks ago. So we're hiring like another 1 to 2 full-time people right now. So really beefing up the team and really taking less of the heavy lifting off my plate, my partner's plate. Like we're still in Clavio doing a lot of work, building the team, building proposals. We're still doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Nice.
But now that we're just kind of right around like the 6-figure, monthly revenue for the agency mark, we're kind of taking a little bit of a step back and focus more on like strategy and growing the business and growing our team. I'm starting to do a lot more like podcast interviews, written interviews. I'm speaking at my first stage at Nick's event in February.
Oh, nice.
I just taught like a course with Founder Magazine on like how brands can go from 6 figures to 7 figures with their e-commerce store through email.
Congrats, man. That's cool.
Thank you. So yeah, a lot of that type of stuff. Like we're starting to sign a lot more consulting deals versus just execution deals.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot more fun to help internal employees at e-commerce brands really kind of get up to speed. How
do you like consulting, by the way?
I actually am falling in love with it because it's so much less work, and the money's pretty good. And it's also very rewarding. Like we've been working with 6 or 7 brands, and we're working with one person internal at each of those brands, and just seeing their personal growth from the past like 6 months to now, it's astonishing, right? Like they're now teaching us as much as we're teaching them. So It's been really a great learning thing where it's like for the first 6 months of working with them, we taught them 90% of it, right? And now it's very much like 50-50, which is cool.
That is cool, man. I've always been so apprehensive on consulting just because like I feel like I would get too like married to that other person's business that I would like put other things aside that I really shouldn't. Um,
Yeah, it's
Plus,
interesting.
sometimes I know clients can be headaches and stuff like that, but I know other people who like completely love consulting too.
Yeah, the reason that I like consulting, at least for our business, is it's scalable, right? So the way that our consulting works is like we're in a Slack channel with each client individually, and they ping us a couple times a week. So, and then we have a dedicated 1 hour a week call where we're doing stuff like this. We're diving in, we're showing them examples for other clients, we're helping them build segments, we're helping them build emails. Like it's very tactical, and it's not just
Yeah,
well, I think if you do this or you do that, you're gonna do well. Like it's very hands on. It's almost as if they're shadowing us as if we're working on their own brand. So it's
interesting.
been very tactical, which has been fun. And
Yeah,
again, like it's something that doesn't take a whole lot of time and helps the agency kind of monthly retainers.
nice.
And that's a really great way too for us to start and then eventually take on a brand's outsourced email work, right? Is really work on the thing, build the trust, and then take on all their work.
Totally,
That's
that makes
smart.
sense.
Yeah, that's really
You know,
smart.
another thing I wanted to touch on, you talked about serial entrepreneurs who have 3 or 4 companies, because I'm sure you have some brands where it's just, one CEO and that's all he does. Then there's like 3 or do you find that the person who's focused on one thing is far more effective than the person running 3 or 4? And obviously this is a super subjective question, but just from your point of view.
Yes and no. Like there's instances in some people that we work with where having a sole focus is help them crush it. That being said, like
Yeah.
the serial entrepreneurs that are doing like 7-8 figures, like they got there for a reason. So they are so meticulous and they're so focused on working with the best people that they're able to stay in their lane, right? They're able to be really great operators and really great managers and really let each of the people on their team or the agents that they work with crush it. So I think the people that have done multiple businesses have become so efficient, and a lot of the businesses they've built are so related. So for example, we work with like a 24-year-old kid out of Australia that has 3 or 4 businesses, like weighted blankets, weighted toys, weighted hoodies. They're all related businesses, and he
Yeah.
does figures, he crushes, and he leverages each business to build the next one, right? They're all assets to build the next one, right? There's
Yeah,
tons
that
of
makes sense.
cross-selling across accounts. There's tons of redundancies in like, logistics and kind of the warehousing and product. So I think if you build businesses that are strategic and are kind of complementary to your other ones, then I think you have advantages. But I think more often than not, building a single business probably makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
It takes a skill to manage multiple, man. Like I have trouble
Yeah.
managing one.
Yeah. I feel it.
Man, that's crazy.
What so as far as structuring your business and the pricing model, we've actually internally we've been talking to a bunch of different agencies for like offers we built. We found pricing ranges anywhere from like, generally, and these are guys managing media. Generally, it's been like 5 to like 15% of ad spend with maybe a retainer, maybe not. Like it kind of depends. How do you guys set up your pricing model?
Man, that's evolved so much since day one. Like we've gone through like 4 or 5 iterations, but today we kind of have 3 core
Could we
offerings.
actually talk about the very first one you did and then how come you changed it? Because I think there's probably a good lesson there for people.
Man, like versions 1 through 4 was like, wait, what's your business? What do you need? Okay, great. We just kind of throw out like a price that we think they'll say yes to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just winging it. Early clients got great deals, right? We were selling clients early on like $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month for the same work that we're selling at $5,000 today, right?
Wow.
A lot of it was just gut. A lot of it was them telling us what they'd be willing to pay and us being pushovers, right?
Yeah.
So it took us honestly about a good year to really like build out buckets. Back then, everything was like done for you. We didn't have like consulting and other things. So like the evolution today now is like we have 3 core packages. On one end of the spectrum, we just do email strategy and email consulting, which typically is right around like $2,500 a month. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have done for you outsourced email marketing, which is around $4,500 a month. So we do everything from design to copy, to testing, to segmentation, to reporting, you name it. And then we built kind of a package in the middle when we noticed like clients kind of wanted a hybrid. So we call it like strategy plus light execution, which is 30.
Yeah.
So some clients, like, they love campaigns, but they hate flows. And flows are just email automations, right? So automations where
Yeah.
people welcome, the abandoned cart, etc. So they either love campaigns and they hate flows, or vice versa. So we'll be kind of coming in as strategists across email as a whole, but we'll execute on just one of those things.
Gotcha.
So again,
dude, that's so funny because automations are such a beautiful thing. Like, you set them up once and they just make you money.
Yeah. And we're pretty transparent with clients. But that being said, like, we've figured out so many automations to build. Like, we build like 8 to 10 core flows at first. So, we mentioned 4 of them, right? The welcome, the other 3 that we mentioned. There are a lot of, like, kind of a customer thank you, a customer win back, a sunset unengaged, which basically is like a breakup series. We do things like cross sells and upsells. Like, there's like 8 to 10 core flows that are very basic, that we think you have to have first before you build on top of it. And each of those flows have like 2 to 5 emails. And then from there, we're building like emails around like someone's gender, right? So for example, we work with the Chivery, and they sell to men's, women, and children. So we're building tracking links within emails, and we're adding custom properties to people's profiles automatically based off what they've clicked.
Smart.
So surveying people within emails. And if someone clicked like a product kind of header category that says like shop men, shop women, shop kids, we'll then drop them into a flow that says like, hey, Tyler, saw that you're interested in our men's clothing. Here are our top 6 best-selling men's clothing for the past month. And we'll organize based off cheapest to most expensive price.
Dude, I love that.
That's genius.
That's awesome.
Especially with a brand like Chive, because it's such different products, but they're so similar, but it's such different messages on their shirts and stuff too.
Yes, very much so. So we'll do things like that. We'll do like upsells based off the specific product, the categories. We'll do things like a welcome back flow. So we'll basically take people's unengaged list. We'll have them run ads to it. We'll then have anyone that from that segment that hits the site, we'll show them a specific pop-up that says like, hey, it's been a few months. Like, here's a welcome back offer. And then when they re-engage, we'll send them almost like a welcome flow, but speaking to them as, they've already been on our list. We don't want to show them the same content. It's like, welcome back offer. We're doing a bunch of really cool things around like pop-ups to specific segments. Like, the customer's purchase, we'll show them a pop-up on the website when they come back that says like, hey, thanks so much for your recent purchase. So we're basically using someone's website as like a billboard, and we're showing different segments, different messages.
That's cool, man. It almost, like, from a user perspective, that almost feel a lot like one-on-one messaging.
Yeah,
very much.
And from a company perspective, it's so rinse and repeat.
Yes.
It's amazing because
that's cool. You guys have done a good job with that. I haven't heard anyone else doing that. That's awesome.
And that's been the biggest competitive advantage we have about just obsessing over email marketing for e-commerce, is that we're able to dive in so deep, and we're starting to like work with Klaviyo like one-to-one and telling them features that we want and testing new features. So we're doing things and seeing things like that aren't live to everyone else. And that then allows us to provide so much extra value for our clients, which leads to retention, right? Like, we've had clients that have been with us since day one. Because we're constantly innovating and we're constantly building new flows, right? So many other agencies build 5 or 10 flows and they call it a day, right? They dust their hands off. We're trying to build 20, 30, 40 flows, right? And we're being smart that people aren't getting too many messages. We're being very aware of that, and then making sure that people are maybe receiving at most like 3 to 5 emails a week. We don't want people to receive too many, but we also don't want to send them too few, because you leave so much money on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. We used to remember that line we used to have in Email Gabe. Biggest cost in email is not sending the email.
Not sending the email. Yeah. I love that this just comes back to just perfect your craft, man. Because like, just focus on what it is and just get the best that you can at it.
100% agree.
Yeah.
That's cool. It makes sense too how someone would want to hire you, because like, you're going to do far more for their email campaign than they probably would. And to hire someone, like, I think about to bring someone in-house who's going to have all that knowledge, like, that's not going to be a cheap hire.
Not at all. Yeah, and we're super transparent with clients. Like, we break down with clients that are hesitant about working with us first in-house. Like, we're literally like their therapist and their kind of mentor on like how we're coaching them through it. It's like, the advantages of working with us are the fact that we're working with 30 clients. So we're seeing things on a micro and a macro level that are working.
Totally. And you guys are innovators too, which is like even bigger.
Exactly. And it's like, all right, on the con side, you don't have one person that's just focusing on you. That being said, like we treat your brand as if it's our own. We obsess over it. We're available 24/7, message us on Slack, call us, this and that, and we're going to get back to you, ASAP. Right. So we pretty much obviously are trying to spin it towards working with us, but we're being very transparent with, here are the things that you get from an in-house person, but here's how we combat that.
Yeah.
Smart.
Badass. I love it, man.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I feel like Gabe's thinking of ways to hire you right now.
I'm just thinking about why I'm fucking with Facebook, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Heartbreakers.
Heartbreakers.
But that being said, like Facebook, SEO, influencers, affiliate, it is so important, right? Because at the end of the day, email is only as good as the leads that come through, right?
Absolutely.
If you don't have a list, we tell people we're not magicians, right? We can't make something of nothing. You do really have to invest and have really high quality leads, subscribers. And with that, I guarantee you we're going to convert those people, right?
Yeah.
So the more good leads you give us, the more money we're going to make you. So to your point, like you're thinking about those other things because we need those things, right? We need those to convert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's an ecosystem, a lead ecosystem, customer ecosystem. Makes sense. So what would you tell someone that was looking, like they just listened to this podcast, they're totally swayed by email. They're like, fuck everything else I'm doing in life, I'm going this route. Yeah. What would you say to those people on how to get started and kind of end up where you are?
So if I'm talking to an e-commerce brand, like an e-commerce owner, I would say to them, build three core flows first and then focus on the rest. In my mind, that's the welcome series, right? For non-buyers. So you have a pop-up on your website. It has some kind of offer, whether it's free shipping, 10% off, or kind of content driven. Build, 3 to 5 emails that hit people over the course of a week and a half or 2 weeks, educating them and nurturing them and telling them more about your brand. That's one. I would absolutely do that. 2 is I would absolutely have the abandoned checkout flow built, right?
Yeah.
That's going to drive so much revenue. People are going to convert. You just need to push them over the edge. And the last thing I would have is kind of some basic, simple post-purchase, right? A customer thank you. You maybe send that a day after someone purchases, really expressing your gratitude and your thankfulness of them buying. If your product requires education, send them an email a couple of days later, letting them know how to use the product, right? So for example, with CBD, we recommend taking this every morning. Here's how much you should take. Here's how long we expect you to use it. And again, those are all things that are going to help people consume your product and allow you to sell more. So it's very valuable for both those. Product review request, a few weeks after someone's purchased a product, or, a week or 2 after someone's order's been shipped and they've received it, ask them for a review on the product. So again, like to keep it super simple, it's greet people when they want to be greeted. It's convert people through an abandoned checkout because they've already made it that far. And it's thank people and educate them post-purchase. That way they're likely to share with friends and buy again. So I would say if you're an e-commerce store, those are the 3 things that you have to do on the automation side. On the campaign side, I would say start with just sending 1 email a week. A new product launch, a celebrity or an influencer partnership, a blog post, a holiday email, something like that. So that's my answer for an e-commerce store owner.
Gotcha.
Very cool.
That's cool, man. And I'm glad you broke that down. It wasn't what I was going for with my question, but I'm glad you broke that down because that is very helpful. I was thinking more from like an education side. If people want to learn about email, if they want to become a marketing agency or someone that's just an email pro, what do you kind of suggest for them?
Okay. So I assume that was part of the question. So the second part then, answering it from my perspective, kind of doing what I've done. If we're talking about email, honestly, anything, I think pick one thing that you're really good at and kind of go wide in that, right?
Yeah.
The best that you could be in that, get some case studies. But I think the best way is to find, thought leaders in this space. So Ezra's a great one. If you're looking for some paid acquisition, Nick's a great one.
Yeah.
Cool people. Follow them, consume their content. If they have courses, ask people people in the community that you can find if the course is worth it. And then you really have to invest, right? There's no substitute for investing the money and the time. And then I think start small, take on a few clients at, pennies on the dollar just to bring people in and get really tangible experience.
Yeah.
And then from there, let people know about what you're doing. Like, I feel like every time I post something to my audience, I get 2 to 3 leads of people saying like, hey, like I know someone that you could help. So share what you're doing, right? No one's going to know what you're doing unless you share. So I'm posting to Facebook, I'm posting to Instagram, I'm posting to LinkedIn. And I'm not doing it because I'm going to get clients, I'm doing it to help. But also my mind now, I've been trained that the byproduct is client acquisition.
Smart.
No doubt. Do you plan to come out with a course or anything in the future?
So I did film a course with Founder that's coming out in January.
That's right. You mentioned that.
I don't know how much that's going to be. That also has like 4 other badass entrepreneurs. Like Nick goes into paid acquisition. Do you guys know Greta?
No, I've seen like some sort of ad or something for her. Yeah. I've never met her though.
Greta's like badass baller woman entrepreneur. She has 4 brands that have all done 7 figures in e-commerce revenue. Her kind of like big thing is influencers. So she's teaching influencers. And then the last thing is like people are teaching like about product and kind of like manufacturing.
Yeah.
So those course, not a standalone course that I'm doing, but that's a really great way for people to get like an understanding of like the marketing and e-commerce landscape. But I don't specifically just have one that's going to just be an e-commerce one that would be cheaper than that one's going to be.
Yeah. Or they can come watch you at Geek Out.
Yeah. February, I think it's like 22nd to 24th in LA.
That's awesome. Where is it in LA?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Nick,
that's fine.
Into it, so he's going to get where to be.
Oh, that's fine, man. People can search it. It's a Geek Out event. There's not too many events called Geek Out, so it should be fairly easy.
True that.
That's cool, man.
If anyone's listening to this and they have an e-commerce brand and they want to hire you or talk to you in regards to hiring you, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
My email would be awesome. So it's chase@boundlesslabs.io. So chase@boundlesslabs.io is the best way. And then if they kind of want to see some of the stuff that I post, I'd say probably Instagram. So Chase Hunter Diamond, no A in Diamond. So Chase Hunter Diamond is my handle.
Awesome.
Cool.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll link your website down below in this podcast too on YouTube and on our website, so people can reach you.
We'll add you to the Craigslist single side too.
Yeah, misconnections.
Yeah,
I love it. That's so awesome. All right, man. Well, thanks for being on the podcast today. It was really cool. We rarely have
man. It's great
guys,
to meet you.
Even though we have a main email guy, but we don't talk about it anymore.
That's right.
So it's awesome, man. I'm glad that you jumped on here and helped out because we do have a lot of e-com listeners too. So
absolutely.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening today. For everyone watching, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube. And for everyone listening, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Thank you again. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Later.